Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
What is going on, kings, queens, and the entire spectrum in between? It is your boy Kwame, and I am back with yet another episode of Kwame Speaks Live. I am so happy, you guys. Thank you guys for joining in. If you are just tuning in, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button. Share if you haven't done so already, and subscribe. That's right, subscribe, y'all. It's important. It helps the algorithm, and it helps the channel. We appreciate it. Praise God. Yes, yes. And if you are watching it on Pyro Media Network, please also check out the amazing kings and queens and everybody in between right here on the talented ones on the Pyro Media Network. If you're on my channel, subscribe as well. We appreciate you. And if you're feeling so blessed and kind, do us a favor and hit me on that Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Slide me a couple of ducats, you know? It takes great time and strength and tiring times for you to, for me to do what I do here. So I appreciate you. Kwame C86. Hit me up. Okay. All right. Who else is on here? Hey, Dr. Hall, how you doing, King? Appreciate you guys for joining in. If you want to sit back, relax, today's topic is about see the brand, be the brand. And I have the amazing, the gorgeous, hey, Tony in the house. What's up, Tony? How you doing, King? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Today we have the gorgeous, the amazing, the talented, the beautiful, Leilani Wells. Yes, she is on here. She is a visibility strategist and brand manager, and I am looking forward to having a conversation with her. A lot of people have asked me, Kwame, why do you have another brand strategist or brand manager on your show? Guess what? I look to collaborate, not have competition. And Leilani, we go back, way back, okay? I'm talking about when I met Leilani, but when I just had started Pyro Media. I think I met Leilani before that because I met her through a mutual of ours, Asa Laveau, and I met her through Asa Laveau and Kiana. Shout out to Kiana Shaw, my wifey, my internet wifey. But no, I met her through them, and I think it was before Pyro even came into existence. I think when we have Blaze Entertainment, and I thought we had her on there. I'm not sure, but we'll get to it. Let me stop talking and bring this queen on, okay, y'all? Let's go ahead and bring this queen on and have a conversation with her because I want to go ahead and make sure that we are getting this knowledge here. So if you are into brands, if you have a brand yourself, if you have a business that you are looking to help market or expand and you can't afford a brand strategist, the gems are coming up in here. So go ahead and hit us up, all right? Without further ado, the queen herself, Leilani Wells. Hey, boo.
Hey. Oh my goodness.
How
I'm like, I have permagran right now. Like literally. These are the best intros I've ever seen in my life. I kept thinking like the intros are done. So I like did that little lipstick gloss over your teeth, like because I keep like smiling. And I'm like, I got to make sure I have no lipstick on my teeth. And then another one starts. And I'm like, oh, now there's one just for me.
Hilarious.
You're amazing.
The Divine Mama is on it to bring on the gems from the queen. Yes! Come on, Divine Mama. You know
that's
what I'm talking about. Yes, yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for hopping on in here. And like I said, if you haven't done so already, if you're not a part of the Pyro Media family, feel free to join. Also, if you're watching from my channel on Kwame Speaks, Kwame Speaks Official, head over there as well and be a part of the, the
family,
the collective
the
with
collective.
the K.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. It will not disappoint.
It won't. It won't. I promise you that. Because I have a gamut of different things going on here. But Leilani, please introduce to the people who may not know you, may not be blessed to know you. Because I absolutely adore you. I think you're one of the dopest and sweetest people ever, and you just are just looking to help. And it's very rare to find people like that you just want to just constantly help in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, okay, well, let's see what I can do. And I watched you with Leilani TV. And Leilani Media TV now. I think it's Leilani Media. Yeah, you started out with Leilani TV, and then you're now Leilani Media, which I'm so proud of you on. I mean, you have the show called Get Seen, and I saw this up, and I'm like, I need to get Leilani back on here. I know you. I think you were a guest on Blaze Entertainment years back when I had that show, that podcast. That was a podcast that launched Pyro Media. And I just had to have you back on here, and specifically on this show because we talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about all these different things. So I'm just stoked to have you on here, and I thank you for taking the time out. Hey Ramona, how you doing, Queen? Appreciate you. And so I'm stoked to have you on here and really appreciate your graciousness for coming on. You are just an amazing wealth of knowledge, and I think underrated, in my personal opinion. And if there's people out here, there's very few people that I trust with clients. And so if you can't get a hold of me, get a hold of Leilani. I'm telling you right now.
Oh my goodness. You're going to make my head explode and my heart explode all at the same time.
I'm being honest, Queen. I'm being honest.
I know you
are.
Tell
us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, and by the way, I know you're being honest. That's why I'm tearing up because I know you only speak the truth, and and I just have to give it back to you before I talk about who I am and what I do, because yes, I was a guest on your podcast before, and it was Blaze Entertainment, and that was the very first podcast I ever was on, ever.
Really?
Ever, yes, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous, and I'm always still nervous anytime, but it never stops. But it was a different kind of nervous. It was like I've never done this before, right? Yeah. And you just made me feel so great and so at peace and just so normal. I could just talk and just just talk and be normal, not a weirdo.
We're all a little weird.
Not like, I don't know what to say. Just answer the question, Leilani. Just answer the question.
Yeah. No, because I remember that interview pretty well, actually. Yeah. And I don't remember you being nervous.
People really liked it. There was like a contest going, and I was second place or something like that. Like people really liked it. And what was crazy about that is that I was so nervous, and when I found that out, I was in shock. But to me, it just speaks volumes to the way you start off the podcast and the way you started off now and the way you started off then. You literally made me as a guest feel so good inside. And when you can do that for your guests, there's nothing but the value that they have inside them that can come out, right? Because everyone gets nervous. Yeah. You know what I mean? Did you hear about how when Oprah, I think she was speaking to this, how everyone at the end of the interview, no matter who they were, asked, how did I do? And that Beyonce asked her that one time. And she was like, you're Beyonce. What are you talking about?
Why you asking me the question, girl?
Yes, it was valuable. It was great. So thank you. Back at you. So I will answer your question now. I'm a visibility strategist. I'm a marketing expert, and I help people get seen. And that can mean whatever the company needs, whatever the creator needs, whatever's necessary. I have a background in all aspects of getting seen. I used to run call centers. I have a marketing, a business degree with a concentration in marketing. If I'm being specific about it, right? It's a marketing degree, right. And and I just love all things sales. And when I came across social media, back in the MySpace days was when I came across social media. I literally was like, this is how I can get in front of all these people and stay at home and not run around for just like all day. Oh, then I met one person. I met another
Right.
person. There's only 365 days in the year, but I can hit up 365 people in 1 minute. Like it just was logical to me. So I
Yeah.
embraced all things communication, internet, social media, all that stuff. And yeah, so that's what I do. I help people utilize all the tools we have: telephones, DMs, mail, if we want to mail something out, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, because I think oftentimes people get a little confused on what the difference between brand strategy and business strategy is. And so I came up with a little, or looked up some information. There we go. Here's that beautiful queen right there. So this is Leilani. She is a visibility and marketing strategist, and so a specialist, excuse me. And I want to make sure that we get over here what is brand strategy. So brand strategy is the holistic approach behind how a brand shows up to its customers and potential customers. A brand strategy encompasses several different brand elements like voice, storytelling, brand identity, brand values, and overall vibe. And so one of the differences between, in summary, basically, brand strategy and business strategy are similar concepts. However, business strategy is focused on how a business will make money, whereas brand strategy is focused on how to build a brand in order to grow a business. So two different, similar concepts, but two different goals. One is about making the money, so the infrastructure and how the money or how the business is making the money. So maybe there's funnels, maybe there is a certain way, like maybe you're using e-commerce for your website. Maybe you're doing telemarketing and stuff like that. That's how the business is making money. Maybe it's customer based as opposed to client based. That is how the business is making money. Whereas the brand strategy of it all is doing more of the colors and how it looks and what the relationship between the client and or customer is to the business, right? And so that is really in essence what Leilani and I do, and specifically why Leilani is here, and to talk about brand strategy in that essence. So it's not necessarily because a lot of times people will say, well, how do I start a business? Listen, honey, I don't have time for this to incorporate your business.
Not me.
I don't do incorporation of your business. You have to have all of that ready to go, and then you come see me. We can talk about all that. I can get you, if you need help with naming your company, if you need help with colors and logos and things of that nature, we can do all that. But as far as like how your infrastructure goes, because I remember that was something that I had to make really clear in my initial meetings. In the beginning, I didn't do that. And so people just automatically assume that, oh, well, Kwame, you can build my business. No. That's not what I do. I'm not there to build your business. I'm there to help with either organizing your business or something that's already established, and or helping to with the relationship of your business, and with that as it pertains to a relationship between the customer and or client and your business. So do you find, as far as like in marketing, do you find those challenges when people approach you with
the crossover of all these different things? It's interesting because I have this extensive sales background and I love my clients so much. And I will talk to them about what I know. So I yes, we're not, I'm not a sales coach and I don't desire to be a sales coach. However, if there's a way that we can create a post or do a live or something with a better call to action, or take a better approach so that you can generate, more income, then, or if I can talk to a staff member or whatever and help you get a job done, that's great. However, if we're talking the whole length of things, well, I'm going to refer you out to a sales coach if that's what you need done, then if that's going to be our everyday conversation, we're not going to do that. Right. Yeah. So there is a lot of times with what we do, people think it's so many different things. And we do naturally have a lot of knowledge, I think, on those things because we are in business, we are touching on all those different aspects. But if we all each focus on our individual like niche as much as we can, then that's going to be where everyone can just really soar the most, you know? And by the way, I love your branding right now. I'm just like, I just I can't like looking at all these like oranges and yellows and they're all flowing together and the calligraphy and everything and just going across my screen. I'm just like, oh, everything's just so on point. Like,
you know what's
everything.
Funny? And I appreciate that. Thank you so much, lady. What's funny is that I don't think people really understand the importance of all of that. It really, I get my neck twitches and my eye twitches and everything twitches when I see because I think Canva, although it's a great resource, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really helped, especially during the pandemic. You know, a lot of people be able to navigate the internet a lot better in terms of their branding and stuff like that, because they don't have to spend thousands on a graphic designer. But oftentimes, because you don't have that graphic designer, you don't understand the concepts of graphic designing. And so then you go and also color theory and all of these different things that people have gone to school for.
Right.
You get on Canva and people just, you know, throw stuff together and say, oh, well, this looks cute, or they'll use a template. And that's fine and dandy, but it's not.
It looks like a template.
It looks like a template. And so people like us will know that.
We know.
And so we're just like,
Like, yeah. I mean, I wish those folks would at least watch a YouTube video, because there was a point where, you know, I couldn't afford a graphic designer, and what had happened was I went and researched this stuff. I went and I want to say hi to them too. Hi.
I didn't want to interrupt, but yes, hey, I'm so happy. Thank you for joining, Pachanda. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
Oh, what a cute name.
My mama found that hilarious.
I know. Oh, you would love her too. She's hilarious in real life.
Oh, I gotta bring her
on. Definitely. So, I would go and do YouTube research. Now, YouTube University, I'm not suggesting it as like the solution ever, but however, if you have no other choice, at least ask a question once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, like, rather than just slap something out. That's how I feel about it anyway. Because you know how you see those little like graph dots in the corner of people's graphics all the time, and the like squares and the circles, and it's just like, are you for real? Like, you know, you can remove that and you'll have more white space.
Switch it up.
Switch it up. Like, everyone knows that, because everyone has Canva, so they recognize it, you know, like, and Canva is amazing. But
it's phenomenal.
The graphic designers, we use Canva, but we just take that stuff, right?
Use Canva, but I use Canva with the knowledge of color theory. I use Canva with the knowledge of graphic design elements, and if something is not graphically sound, I will get irritated, because it's like, especially if it comes out of my company, like my staff knows I don't play around. Like, I don't mind if you come in and you are learning, or you want to. That we get a lot of graphic design interns that come in to get college credit, which is totally fine, not a problem. But girl, don't go out and put out something that you just got a template off of Canva. Did you even try? Did you even try to switch up the colors?
Yeah.
Flip a design or something. Give me something.
Turn it upside down.
Turn it upside down or something. Flip it around, you know? Let's make this work, you know? And so it's the lack of trying and the laziness for me. And also the copying. I don't like that. Like, there's so much to be said about people who I will respect somebody who doesn't have a lot of graphic knowledge, but is so unique in their movement. You know what I mean? Because that to me, it's less about it's about the bravery of being yourself, and I love that. I love the energy that comes with that, and even if it's not graphically sound, it's the ability for you to, and the bravery of you going to try to be something
different.
Different. All time. We already have a Beyonce. We already have a Rihanna. We already have a Leilani. We already have a Kwame. We don't need, the same as that. Be your own. Be in your own space.
Yeah.
So I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And one thing I want to add to that is that everything doesn't need to go on the graphics. Since we're on graphics, understand, like, there's a caption option. Like nobody, like people would do so well if they just think from the perspective of how they feel when they view other people's stuff. And it's information overload when people are trying to put everything on a graphic, and we get overwhelmed and then we scroll real fast past it. We don't even stop. Don't collect $200. Don't pass go. None of that. We're moving on.
There is a difference between a printed flyer and something that's supposed to go on social media. A printed flyer will have all of that information on it because it's meant to be printed out and put on a wall, on a community board, or what have you, or passed out, or email, or not email, excuse me, mailed, or what have you, to physically see all of the information on there. A graphic design post for social media, for I don't know, a thumbnail even. I've seen thumbnails and I'm just like, it's like, why are you doing that? I don't need to see. And I noticed this a lot with churches. I noticed a lot with churches that they do that. Often, I don't see this too much with corporate entities, because corporate entities tend to have a graphic designer they hire, and so they know those things typically. But I've noticed this a lot with churches, or even club events don't even do that anymore. I've noticed that, like, club events, like, it's just usually it's a flyer, it's information at the bottom, call it a day. You know, I don't need to know everything on there unless it's a movie.
Yes, and you have all the credits underneath.
We want to thank our creative director and the graphic designer, and we want to thank the illustrator and also the host, and also, you know, so all of that goes in there. But I think it's important to make it simple, because remember, the goal in, especially on social media, is you want to stop the scroll. You want to stop. I know I have orange. It's a thing.
I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that.
But you want to stop the scroll, and oftentimes people are so focused on putting all the information on there that they don't realize that people are going to scroll past that instead of making something visually dynamic to stop them.
So I have to like subject hop a second here, because you're the orange thing. So this orange, I actually wanted to make sure that I was making the point on a post I was making the other day about the fun side of me. I wanted people to feel fun while reading just a couple sentences from me. So I looked up the fun color, and it was orange, which you may already know, likely. Yeah. Okay. So in case you guys didn't know, he's telling you how fun he is and how much excitement he'll have being here, in his entire brand on the back of his cell phone, all that stuff.
And also orange. And it's not just orange in and of itself, because it's not even my favorite color. My favorite color is purple.
Mine too.
Yeah, so I came across orange because of in color theory, and I have a little thing for and color theory as it pertains to business, because there's color theory for art, and there's color theory for, there's different types of color theory. I think there's metaphysical color theory, and then there's color theory for business. But as it pertains to business, orange is a color of adventure, which inspires and creates enthusiasm. It is optimistic and sociable, and suggests affordability. And it is also reliable. So another one, so that's the type of energy that I wanted to bring to my show and just my overall brand. So a lot of times people will just kind of throw out colors because it's vibrant, but they don't know the meaning behind the business behind it, and why it's connected to it. So us having, you know, brand strategists like us, and people who are into marketing, there's a reason why we connect the business with that color. And so your favorite color may be purple, but you may need to have blue. You may need to have green for your business. Your business is not necessarily you; it's an extension of you, right? And so you know, you want to have you in it, and which is why, you know, I use a lot of KC in there, a lot of, you know, my name, and when it comes to Kwame Speaks, but orange is always going to be kind of where I want things to ride when it comes to my business and branding and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm so glad you noticed that. I love talking to another strategist.
I know, right? It just like gets us all fired up, like we're like we're eating a bag of peanut M&Ms together. Like, hey!
No, but it really means a lot to kind of talk to other people, and I encourage you guys to talk to people within your industry as well, because it does help, because oftentimes we are having conversations with our clients, we're having conversations with friends and family, and they don't necessarily get it because they're just like, oh, that's cute for you, Leilani. We're so happy for you. But they don't understand the struggles and what it takes and the client frustrations that you have or the customer frustrations that you have or whatever, or just daily business frustrations that you have that you can only understand if you're going through that route. So people who are in the entertainment industry, make sure you get people, not necessarily friends, but people who are well versed in the situation, because I like to keep business separate from personal. And sometimes I will call my brand strategist and be like, hey girl, and she has to give me some business, some what I call business therapy. This time I'm gonna be like, I'm done. I'm over it. And I think that you've been there probably a couple of times.
Well, I'm loving the way I'm loving the way you're breaking all of this stuff down. I think what you shared earlier about, like, even when we're talking about the flyer situation, and I think that's like a post, like that you can write, and that would be great for people to see. I would love to see it because the way you shared that was, what did you say? Tell me, I forgot exactly what you said, but it just made so much sense.
Stop the scroll.
No, it wasn't stop the scroll. I'll remember it before the end, but the way you broke it down, it was like, light bulb. I think someone will immediately understand, like, oh, that's why I don't put a bunch of stuff on the flyer, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Because you don't want things to be cluttered. You don't want things to distract from the focus of it. You want them to stop the scroll and be like, and then they can put all of the information in the caption. Because once you stop them, you have 5.10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? To get them to read the caption. And if your first couple of sentences are not exciting, then they're not going to open it up to read the rest of the thing. And so, and you also want things to spider in. That's a whole masterclass. Girl, don't get us started. Me and Leilani will do a masterclass. Don't play. But you have a show I just mentioned called Get Seen. Tell me a little bit about it and tell the audience a little bit about it.
Yes, so it's actually a membership, but I guess it is like a show, right? So Get Seen, it is a membership. So I have a membership where it's like a private club. I had a vision where I've always wanted to work less and play more. Right? I love to travel. Those who get to know me will see, like, I find ways to travel places by finding a client where I want to go. And I'll be like, okay, I'll come, and do client work with you. Let me videotape you all this and that. And we'll get your content because I want to go there. And so anyway, so I was like, how do I serve more people on a greater scale? Marketing is so expensive. There's people at different levels that come to me. The more established ones come to me and they want me to teach their team or tell them what's the next direction to go in marketing. The newbies come to me and they're like, well, I can't afford this high level of hiring you or someone out. And now my business is suffering because I can't afford, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month on marketing. So what do I do and still run my business? So I created Get Seen, the membership, where people can join. I don't know if I can say the price point or whatever. If you want me to talk.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so it's just $97 a month as we at the time of this video. Okay,
at the
time of this taping, because I was like on a price increase roll for a couple weeks there. I was like, what? All my other stuff though, but it was so it's $97 a month or $1,000 a year. And then everyone and anyone at any level of the game can come and get lives from me 4 times a month on everything that's going on within marketing, visibility, branding, all this stuff within my business, what I'm doing, what my team's doing. Number 2, they get all the master classes with all my Get Seen speakers. So I have 7 Get Seen speakers all across the board who know things about like podcasting and branding and different things, in marketing. And really, we're just wanting to see people have success and understand, like, where do you begin in marketing and have a place to start from, and they can ask all the questions they want in there, connect, collaborate, all that stuff. And I really love what you were saying at the beginning about the whole collaborative aspect, because I have in there multiple marketers where I invite people in to speak in my group and they teach marketing just like me. It's like, it's a whole thing, you know, where it's like, what do people need? What do they need? Let people, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because I one of the things I remember when I started podcasting, I spent a whole 6 to 8 months just studying. Not even I didn't want to buy a mic yet. I just wanted to study it and just understand what podcasting was, what was the demographics, what was the niches out there, I was on crack. Just trying to research everything. I wanted to learn about all the other beginner mics. I wanted to be someone that if somebody came to me, I can consult them on how to start a podcast. That's how good I wanted to be before I even got onto the mic. I also started looking up, you know, how to be a host, right? How to be a podcast host, because that's different from being on here, right? To showing your face and how to, you know, navigate, how to engage your client, or the host, or how to engage the audience of that. So all of that was something that I really wanted to study and understand and be proficient in. It's funny because one of the first things that I did was I started looking on Facebook for different podcasting groups, and one of the ones that I ended up being a moderator for and ended up being a major connector for was the Podcast Discovery Center, and they connected. I think weren't you a part of that, Leilani, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't remember. You have such a great memory. You're probably right. Like I'm like, he remembers everything. I better always be like very, very nice. Don't come to you hangry.
No, because so that was because that turned into, I think they had like it was a lot of people in there. It was a lot of men. That was like I was kind of thrown into that after a while because I really connected with a lot of different people and I grew really fast podcasting. And at first, people were looking at me like, why are you growing? Why are you getting all these numbers so you know? And the podcasting was so fast. And I honestly didn't. I think part of it was because of the fact that we were so vocal against y'all's former president. We were, and that was just kind of the trend at the time. People were just really, you know, fighting back and being, you know, showing resistance. But we were very vocal, and also I just was more about connecting and networking. And so I didn't look at like, oh, you couldn't come on my podcast unless you have a certain amount of numbers, or you couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I really was focusing on gathering and grouping.
I love the radio style. I was into, I've always, you know, to me, like the style of which that you've always done your shows, it feels very old school radio to me. Yeah. And I think that like when radio started shifting, there were many of us that never wanted it to go away. Yeah. It was like always the coolest thing. And even though it's like, yeah, there's convenient ways to access whatever you want to access, there's something about turning on the radio and hearing the DJ and seeing all of that stuff and having that vibe and the concerts that used to happen. Like your show, like, was lit, like always, like from a radio-ish like vibe, like, yeah, that's why I'm saying I was like, oh, he wants me to come back again. Yeah. Oh my gosh, okay. All right.
No, that Blaze Entertainment was really just kind of like a phenomenon of its own, and there was a style, and a lot of our style we emulated from the Read or from the Friend Zone or from at the time the Breakfast Club, and so like we just wanted that vibe, that energy, to kind of keep it, you know, urban and hip hop and us, but still at the same time, one of the things that we threw in there was a lot of mental health thoughts and conversations and things that were considered collegiate talk, you know, and so and that in and of itself was something that frustrated us, and we kind of pushed back on because a lot of people were like, well, you guys are, you know, talking about stuff that's too white. Why wouldn't these conversations happen in our spaces too? Why wouldn't there's a lot of us that are very well educated and want to have conversations that are thought provoking, that are beyond, you know, just pop culture, and we can have conversations about pop culture and still talk about things that are, you know, as far as activism is concerned at the same time. why can't we be well balanced? We're not monoliths. We're all different. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people, you know, like sugar on their grits. I think that that's really weird. You know, like that's just, you know, some people like turkey bacon.
I like cheese.
Like cheese.
Salt, pepper.
And so, like, you know, everybody, we're not a monolith. There's all different types of aspects of our culture and people of color, both Black and brown. And so, you know, I wanted to make sure that we were being, you know, and also my co-host was at the time was from the West Coast and I was from the East Coast. So we're bridging two different perspectives, you know, into the world. So it was really, really dope. And I appreciate you for supporting and being a part of that as well. And remember
yeah, no, super dope. And like, I can't believe I just said dope. I just had to feel how it sounded coming out of my mouth, and I was like, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break because we got to pay some bills, and when we come back, I want to talk to you more about what you got going on now and what you got going on in the future, upcoming in the next year and a half, if you will. All right, so we'll be right back. More with Leilani Wells right after this.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station. Step away from the chaos and noise of your daily life. Experience moments for yourself that are calm, serene, and full of peace. A necessary respite to foster growth within you, because self-care should be luxurious. Lux and Noir. This episode is brought to you by Audible, an Amazon company. Partnering with Audible, an Amazon company, to provide you a 30-day free trial of their Audible Premium Plus subscription for our audience exclusively. You will get 1 free credit, or 2 credits if you're a Prime member, good for any premium selection titles you like, and it's yours to keep. The Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals, listen all you want, no credits needed. And you'll also get a friendly email reminder before your trial ends. To take advantage of this offer, you can click on the link in the comments or use this special QR code by using your mobile device. Audible, an Amazon company. All right, let's get back to the show.
And we're back.
I was just sitting here like getting sad that this has to end at some point. I'm like watching.
You are more than welcome to come here anytime, Leilani. And I have some things that I want to talk to you about. We'll talk about it after the show in the background.
Okay.
You know, you got a static cast.
I'm gonna have you on my podcast. You know, you asked me about my show, and I was like, oh my gosh, he was probably talking about my podcast. I'm like, what show do I have? And I'm like, did I forget about a show? Was I supposed to tape on air? Like, what's happening?
What show is this?
I'm so laser focused on like what I'm working on right at this moment. Like, you know, that I forgot, like, okay, because we just like pumped out like our last season. and then I moved on to, you know, something else, and then I'm about to get back into this next season, but you know, that's next week, you know.
Right. We got a lot going on now.
A lot's going on. Yeah, a lot's going on. But yes, I got to have you on my podcast.
Bless you. I have no problem doing that. Not at all.
That is happening.
We'll talk about it after the show. You guys, if you are just tuning in, do us a quick favor and hit that like button. Share if you haven't done so already. And subscribe. You got to subscribe because it helps all of the algorithms. We appreciate it. And if you feel so inclined and you're feeling blessed, go ahead and hit that cash out with Kwame C86. And also just know that this is a bully-free zone. So please make sure that you keep your keep it cute in the comments, okay? So even if you have even if you like sugar on your grits, don't get crazy. And shout out to Lexa Noir, my candle company. You can definitely head over there. We got some new amazing stuff over there. So shout out to all of those that are ordering. I saw some orders over the weekend, and I appreciate you guys doing that. So yeah, we restocked on Friday. So go ahead and hit it up. All right, Leilani, back to you. What do we got going on right now in the world of Leilani Media?
Yeah, so much is going on. So yeah, Get Seen the podcast recently launched Get Seen, I think the end of last year sometime. So we are going to head into season 3 here coming up soon. And yeah, I was gonna do like, you know, the every other week episode, but I realized I'm more of a season gal because I get inspired and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this for a minute. So I'm like, okay, I got to bulk this out for this to be consistent. So it's really an amazing podcast. I approach it as I approach everything. Just tell the people what you know. Give them what they want. You know? Give them what they want and have fun. I like to have fun. And then, something really fun is this is like more personal, but I found a way to mix business in it. So I'm a soccer mom, which is why we do right. I just became a soccer mom last year. I don't fully understand soccer and offsides and all that. However, they had a marketing director volunteer position. And I was like, okay, I want to do this and get to know the community and be involved. This is what, you know, I started my business for, so I could be more involved as a parent. Like this was one of the main reasons. So yeah, so they were like, yep, come on board. So now I'm doing sponsorships and marketing for them. I start next month on that. And so
if you already didn't have enough on your plate,
right? Let's just volunteer.
Why not?
But what I love about that is, you know, there's so much that I do that, I mean, people see me fly here or there, but a lot of it's like, you know, in a bubble, you know, I have to find opportunities to get out from behind the screen and behind the cell phone and stuff. So that gets me meeting people all throughout town, and I'm excited for that to happen. And then I talked about the membership. Here's what I'm really excited about as well, is I started flying to people to get video content of them and help them, so people who want to hire me and have me create reels with them. I fly out to them for a specific price, and then we get a ton of content, and it's like a VIP mini week. And then I coach them throughout the month, and we put all these together, and they can have content for quite some time. So now we just decided today that we're going to create a package, kind of like a content camp style situation where where I go and have a team where we capture so much content in like a week or two's time for people to have and use and posted for them and done for them and all of that for up to 6 or 7 months. So that's what I'm super excited about right now, because
that's genius. I love that.
And it's fun too. I get that adventure that I need and desire, and I get to, you know, turn people down that aren't a fit. No, you're not that fun. You know, you're not going to be great on camera, so I'll go, I'll work with this person, you know what I mean?
Now, speaking of that, Leilani, I think oftentimes people, you know, they don't understand the difference between customer base and client base. And so customers like you usually are typically retail driven, restaurant driven, like you have a service or product and they come to you and you basically have to kind of give it to whatever you don't have to, but you know what I mean? Like, it's more of like okay, go ahead and, you know, I have this product, you pay for it, you call it a day. With a client, there's a relationship.
Yeah.
There is a building of a relationship. So that there oftentimes, especially in the entertainment world, especially in video production, especially in media, there is a relationship that has to be built between the producer and the client. And so for me, I have a process that kind of weeds out most of the crazies.
Yeah.
Some of them slip by, but it is what
Yeah.
it is, right? But for the most part, if it's not a good fit, and oftentimes it may not necessarily be that it's that they're crazy. It just means that we're not a good fit. We just,
Yeah.
my business and their personality.
Sometimes they're crazy. Especially when you're fun and nice, it tends to attract that sometimes.
Oftentimes, that's here or there. But for those that are just not good fits with we have a lot of misfires. I tend to recommend them to other production companies, and a lot of somebody had asked me one time, "Why do you recommend them to another production company?" Because it's not a good fit for what we're doing. Right. I had someone who was willing to pay a lot of money, but they did not align with our principles in terms of politically, right? And so I just didn't feel comfortable doing that because I would be a hypocrite by saying, yay, all of this, and then the orange monkey is on the screen. So that's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like, for me. So have you ran into those situations, and how did you deal with those situations when it came to misfires, when it came to clients or potential clients?
Yeah. Well, that's a really great question, because for me, it is so important with the work that I do that there's trust there. So for me, it's the number one thing that I need to know is going to be the case is that you trust me and I trust you. Yeah. And if you've hired me and you're asking a bunch of questions, still deciding to trust me, then I can't get you to come out and be visible, because it's a vulnerable place that you were already resistant to. Right. And so you're not going to trust me to be vulnerable. And that's an internal job. I'm definitely a safe space, so there are certain aspects and things that I find out before I take on clients for specific things. It depends on what type of work we're doing together. But if I was to, for instance, fly to somebody, sometimes I'm in their, well, a lot of times, oftentimes I'm at their house, because we're getting content of how they live their life, right? I could be hanging out with them, petting their dog and hanging out with them, taking content of them interacting with their families and friends and clients and all that kind of stuff. And then they're doing all kinds of video content and things that they've never done before, stretching themselves. And their feelings are going to show through their eyes, through their body language, through all of that. And I get to help them feel confident within their own skin to go through the process. So when they trust me, they just soar. And so I can understand that if a client is the right fit for me, one of the main indicators is when I see that they're right, that I see where they're going. I can look at someone and be like, you're amazing because X, Y, Z. And you're amazing, but you don't know all of the little details that I see you all the way up here. I see how someone could have seen Oprah and saw Oprah as Oprah. That's how I can see people, right?
Yes.
And if I tell you I see you like that, then I mean it, right? And so those people that know I mean it, their face will look like she sees something, and I trust what she sees, even if I don't see it. That's when we can do the work. That's when we can do the work.
And I think that trust is important. Once it's broken, it's just kind of like, okay, girl, well, it's nice having you. Let's terminate this contract. It's like you can't really go back for it, because how am I going to and also I think what I've noticed is that there's kind of like for me, there's a 3-month period of transitioning, because you're talking about clients that have either been doing it on their own or doing it a certain way, and may not be used to doing it any other way, right? Or they've been doing it on their own so long, or they've had prior situations where they've been hurt, or they've had business dealings that have gone sour, and they have business trauma. A lot of this is really therapy, and be a lot helpful if everyone got therapy, but that's here nor there. I have a therapist, so I'm really big on mental health awareness and mental health services, because I just think that it makes life a lot easier. But that's here nor there. And so I think just kind of navigating that, my 3-month period of just kind of feeling them out, getting them to understand that, hey, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be consistent. And I think that that's been an issue, is consistency with people, that they're not used to, like, well, they say they're going to be at this meeting, or they say that they're going to be there, or they say that they're going to do this, and then they're not doing that. It's fine if you don't do it, because you have to learn. You know what I'm saying? You may not know that you're supposed to be here all the time because you want to go and be the next Oprah, but you're not making it to all of your meetings. You want to be the next Oprah, but your showrunner's not done. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the next Oprah, but then you're not, you're not doing your research on the topics. You know what I'm saying? So those are or you want to be the next, Wendy Williams, or the next Oprah, or the next whoever else, Jennifer Hudson, or whatever, but you're not researching your interviewee. You know what I'm saying?
I think it just really speaks to the business side of things. I think people, a lot of times people, they come to us and they are not really talking about growing their business. They're not talking about visibility for business growth. They want popularity. They want to, they're comparing themselves inside to other people, and that has nothing to do with them. And they're not, like, when I ask them why they want to be on Instagram or why they want to be here, why is that your choice? Is it because that is where you need to be? Because you may have an email list of 20,000 people. Why are we not talking about that? And there's like warning signs to me, like I hate to use the word red flags, but it's like, I like to work with people who are discerning. And yes, we can be excited about this entrepreneur and that entrepreneur about what they're doing, but it doesn't mean we need to be hiring them or consuming their information all day or trying to be like them. It has nothing to do with our business other than the fact that we are enjoying and appreciating what someone else is doing. It doesn't mean that's where our money goes. Our money, we need to be discerning about what is next for our business.
Yes.
And that's why I don't concern myself with competition and all of that, because if that you work with, if you want to work with people who are business minded, especially established entrepreneurs that are like looking at what's coming in, they're looking at all the numbers, or people that want to move fast, even if they're not established and they are focused, when they're only being visible because it's an Xbox that needs to be checked off and it's time because it makes sense for the business. That's who I like to work with. Those other people that are like, they don't know why they want to be here or why they want to be there or why they even want to work with me to begin with. Like, oh, you just want to be my friend? Well, hit me up some other way. Like, I know I'm fun. We're going to work here,
Right.
There's aspects where people are blaming their lack of discernment outside of themselves, because I will get something out of every place I put my money. Every place.
And I think that there's a difference between Leilani Wells and Leilani producer, right? And so people oftentimes they don't they think because well, I'm friends with Leilani, and then I just hired her to do this. Now you got Leilani producer that she has to produce.
And we will produce because my name's on it.
I'm not gonna make my deadline, girl. I'm sorry about it. And oftentimes, because honestly, I think that's why there's a lot of pressure on my team. There's a lot of pressure on us because they don't see that. For example, if you were a client, if you were a host, and you are just starting, and I've already told you 4,000 times, Leilani, that you need to get good internet, they don't care if they can see Kwame clearly. They don't care. They see that Pyro Media's production, their internet is messed up. It's not ours, girl. It's them. You know what I'm saying? If there is a word that's out of place on a social media post, they don't care that verbiage was given to us by the client. We should have checked it and put it out properly. You know what I'm saying? So I think oftentimes there's a lot of pressure to be perfect, and not necessarily perfect, but being being excellent. And I think excellence is different from perfect. If you're striving for excellence and you want to constantly do the best that you can, and produce the best content that you can. And I think oftentimes when you have people who are used to doing mediocre, and they don't see the pressure that is on us, because if I came to you and I was like, oh girl, I just turned on my camera, call it a day, that may have worked then, but you came to me to elevate your brand, right? And so now there are certain things that you have to do. That means you need to research your stuff. That means you need to have a showrunner. That means you need to have things in place. That means you need to be in meetings, development sessions with us. That means you need to do certain things that you may not have necessarily wanted to do before, because you thought that you were just going to hire this team and they were going to do it all for you. No, honey, that's not how that works. No, you got to work. You know, it's kind of like what Debbie Allen said. You know, if you want fame, well, fame costs. Okay.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I love Debbie Allen. So I miss watching that show. Watching her on there. Whew.
Yeah. So now that we're coming to a close, I lost track of time. I thought we were hacking up more time. So sad.
Oh no.
But no, it's okay. It's fine. I definitely gonna have you back on. For sure, definitely gonna have you back on, because you're just a dope human being, and I love talking with you. And this was just a breath of fresh air to have a conversation with another strategist and really understand what that is. Now, tell me a little bit about before we go, a little bit about what visibility strategy is, and then after that, tell us where we can find you and stuff.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So visibility strategy is different for everybody. So that's why I like to say strategy, because we're literally looking at your business from the perspective of where do you want to be seen? How do you want to be seen? Right. And so we can look at a business and say, okay, like the example I used earlier, what is your email list size? Have you been nurturing it? What kind of business do you do? I remember speaking to a business years ago, and they advertised in these mailers, like these mailers for businesses, local businesses. And I was like, okay, well, we need to focus on the mail then to get the word out about you, you know? And that is an aspect that so many people don't talk about anymore, is the actual mail. But for me, being visible is all about communicating. It's all about literally being seen, getting seen. And so what I do is I help people literally be seen and get seen so that they can actually have an audience to sell their services to. Because if they don't know you exist, then it doesn't matter how great you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we take away people wanting to be internet famous, and we just focus on people being seen. Then their business, mind can turn back on and be like, oh, well, wait a second here. I did have that person that I met at the grocery store the other day who owns this business down the street and has another 2 businesses down that other street. Why don't I just pick up the phone?
Yep.
And these are the conversations I'm in.
Right. And what you just explained, ladies and gentlemen, and kings and queens and the entire spectrum in between, is quality over quantity. Because I can know and be very close with 5 powerful people in the network or in the industry that I'm in, or I could have tens of thousands of people follow me. Like I have a lot of followers on TikTok. However, there's certain people on TikTok that I know that have connections within the industry that I'm in, who have funneled clients to me that have been separate from Pyro Media Network, but from my KC3 agency or my strategy agency. So a lot of them come through because of who I know and the quality of people who I know, because I know that if I give something to them, perfect example, when I go and share something and I tell Dr. Holt or I tell Cupcake, who are my mods on here, they get it done. They will share it out to get all the people Kwame's online. Pyro Media is going live. You need those people who can actually bring in. You need the quality of people that can actually bring in and bring people into your circle and bring people into what you do. And so, I love talking to you. Thank you.
I know relationship building. I know, same. Relationship building is the number one aspect of anyone's business.
Yeah.
At least it should be. is relationship building.
Yeah.
I actually think it's Layla Hermosi. I just shared a reel of hers the other day on my stories where she was speaking to this about how she spends most of her time, or a big bulk of her time, building those relationships over phone calls, and I just feel like there were times in my business where I didn't want to be seen because I was going through life. And so how did I be seen behind the curtain? I was on calls talking to people that knew my skill set. And then I was doing business. I was still working through those tough times, where I couldn't be as public in one way. So I was public in another way. So I just think it's important that we don't lose sight of the fact that we're just trying to communicate what we're offering and sell it.
Yeah. Whew. Leilani, thank you so much for being on here. How can the people find you?
At Leilani M. Well, or at Leilani M. Wells. So M is my middle initial. So Leilani, just Leilani is the way it's spelt. So just think of like the lei when you go to Hawaii, it's put on you, Lei, Leilani M. Wells, and that's like all across the board where they have the handles. And then my LinkedIn is Leilani M. Wells, and my Facebook is Leilani Murray Wells. Not Marie, it's Murray.
Okay, Murray. All right. And then, is there any way that they can connect you on the website? And I want you to kind of spell it out. We do go live on. We get distributed on Bullet and Flight Radio, which is the #1 progressive Christian and inspirational radio station in the world. So they listen to it. And they have a very huge following, so they listen to the show.
Okay. Well, hi, y'all. Yes. Okay, so you can find me, and I cannot believe I didn't say my website, which has everything, all things Leilani on there. Actually, that's the one place you really should go, is leilaniwells.com. Very simple. leilaniwells.com. Now, LEILAN like Nancy, Leilani Wells like a wishing well, but plural.com.
Multiple ones. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leilani, again, thank you. It is an honor to have you, and I want to have you back on again. Let's connect again, and stay after the show for a couple of minutes. I want to talk to you about something, and also that beautiful queen right there. She's gorgeous.
I always look different.
Let's admire her for a minute. All right, don't forget to subscribe, you guys. You can subscribe to Pyro Media Network, and also follow us on all social media platforms at Pyro Media Network. Or you can go ahead and make sure that you follow my channel, which is youtube.com/Kwame Speaks Official. That just says Kwame Speaks, but it's Kwame Speaks Official now. And you can follow me on all social media platforms at Kwame Speaks Official, specifically on TikTok. Now, if you're business-wise, or if you don't like cussing, don't follow me on TikTok. All right, so, just saying. And also, you can head over to my candle company, and I'm gonna be changing it to more self-care company, because we're adding a lot more different things to it as well. But definitely head over to Luxe and Noir Candle Co. You can go to luxeandnoir.com, and that's LUXEANDNOIR.com. We have a whole bunch of amazing scents and things for you to smell, and also things for your just for your self-care needs and pleasure. We're going to be adding a bunch of things within the next couple of weeks, so definitely check it out. And we're prepping for the holiday season, so definitely tune in on that. Like I said before, Kwame Speaks Official on all social media platforms. And if you need any type of personal or business development, you can head over to kwamespeaks@outlook.com. You can email me there, or you can contact the company at info@pyromedianetwork.com, or go to pyromediaenterprises.com, and you'll see all of the subsidiaries underneath the overall company. All right. Whew. That all in one breath. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Dr. Holt, thank you for coming in. Yup, still happy. Thank you for coming in. Pachanda, thank you for coming in. The Divine Mama, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. Everybody, Tony, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, King. Ramona, thank you. I love you, big sis. Appreciate you. Everybody, yes, that's right. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't subscribed yet. Praise God. All right. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget, it's a great day to have a great day, to create one. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, create one, and we'll see you next week, Monday. Yes, next week, Monday. Who is on Monday? I want to make sure. Let me look real quick to see who's on Monday. I know I have another guest that is going to be epic. Before I go, I just want to make sure. Who is that? That is the 28th. Oh, hold on, girl. Okay, not August 28th. August 28th. I have Parnell DiMarcano coming on. The Parnell is coming on next week. Now, Parnell, if you guys have seen, oh my God, why is it escaping me? The show Greenleaf. If you've seen Greenleaf, he played the Minister of Music on there. So definitely check it out. Next week it's going to be dope. I'm super excited to talk with him. That he's one of just an awesome human being, and I just love talking to him. So definitely check it out, and I'll see you guys next week. Until then, again, it is a great day to have a great day. So create one. Peace out, y'all. Bye.